Rich Paul was on Gil's Arena, and he was talking mainly about the Luka thing and explaining how he had no idea what was going to happen. But he did mention, do we have the audio?
We do.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Here's Rich Paul and what he had to say about the De'Aaron Fox deal.
That's how I looked at it. In De'Aaron's case, he has spent 8 years in SAC. It's pretty good, but it was time for a change, and I personally wanted to place him next to Wemby to grow, right? And he thought that made a lot of sense too. It's his choice, but that's where he wanted to be. And I was blessed enough and able enough to make that happen, right? In BI's.
Yeah. You notice how carefully he's choosing his words, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm blessed to make that happen. But he did say, I felt it would be good for him to go down with Wemby.
Yes.
And then he followed that and also said he wanted to be down there too, though.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me too. Quote, I personally wanted to place him next to Wemby to grow, right? And he thought that made a lot of sense too. It's his choice, but that's where he wanted to be. And I was blessed enough and able to make that happen. To me, I think we pretty much know how this all went. To me, this just reinforces that notion that once De'Aaron Fox signed up with Clutch, there's a really good chance he was gone.
Yeah, and the writing was on the wall. You got to give a hand clap to Officer Mike. You were in front of this for a while. I remember before the season started, you said it a few times. Just, something is touching me to where this isn't going to end right. And if you don't, and I remember you saying it, paraphrasing it, if you don't get it figured out now, this is something that might linger on, and it's probably not going to end well. And we're at that point. We're past that point now. But I remember you were spot on there, Officer Mike. You were right there.
Well, I appreciate that, but I was just getting all my information from that reporting from Sam Amick and Slates. Yeah, they were all over it.
Yeah, but you also have to read and decipher. It's like when you go to college. Sometimes you can get caught reading too much, and you don't comprehend what you really need. You're just reading to be reading. So you comprehended it, read through it, and spit something out.
There was a lot of people around here, especially people that had anything to do with the Kings, who wanted to, downplay all of that at the times. Like, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. Maybe it will be down the road, but of course, it got to the point where it was inevitable, had to be dealt with. So. I don't know.
It wasn't too long.
Yeah. I don't even know if the Spurs are that happy with it yet, but they just did it. So there's a long ways to go. Today on Get Up, I guess they had some big fight about, somebody said the Luka trade is a massive failure. And someone said, how can you say that? They just did it. They got into some big stupid fight.
Come on, man.
But the point is, we don't know anything about how these trades are going to work out yet.
No, got to give it a little time, got to let it breathe a little bit. And the first part of it will be March 7th. We'll know, people are going to, we're going to have a get up type argument and discussion after March 7th, which is a Friday. Be in the building if you can. And then on top of that, once we assess who, what, where, and why is in the playoffs and play in and how that kind of shakes out, then we'll assess it there. And then the third assessment will be this offseason as people, let it breathe a little bit. And as we move forward and some of these teams shake out and we get a little more comfortable with both of these rosters, looking at the Spurs with De'Aaron and Zach and DeMar and all these guys here in Sacramento, we'll have another discussion. I'm prepared to have 3 or 4 because I know we're going to have them.